So it's been a while since I did a video. I didn't put makeup on or fix my hair at all, so this is what you're getting today. This is Diana on Sunday. Um, I wanted to update on a few things. I don't know if you can tell that I've lost some weight. I don't know exactly how much, but if I had to guess, I would say maybe 7 pounds or something like that. Because I think it was partly because of Thuri dying. I do think that, as much as, I mean, a lot of people have experience with grief, and like even if you're not actively thinking about it every day, it still has a way of kind of manifesting, in your body or whatever. So I think that when she died, my appetite just dropped off, and I just wasn't feeling hungry, and I was getting full really easily. Now I have PMS, so it's completely flipped the opposite way. But I'm expecting it to drop off again, but hopefully not as much as it did. Not that I mind losing weight. It's just, it sucks when something that usually gives me so much, joy and pleasure is just like a, perfunctory obligation that gives me no joy whatsoever. And it's just like a responsibility, which is what it was feeling like. And I would just feel hungry all the time. It sucks to feel hungry and not want to eat. Anyway, and it's very unusual for me too. Anyway, so and then I think another reason why I've lost some weight is because Fuckwick has not been letting me digest my food properly. He's been making me shit so much. He gave me a break for like a week there. I think it was like a week to 10 days where I was like pooping normally again, and then he was right back at it again. And the same thing with the breathing thing, like he sort of stopped and then he started up again, and then he stops for a bit and then he starts up again. And it is actually like somebody pushing on my windpipe and choking me. Like that's what it feels like. So like, I just can't get a breath. I've described it many times. Anyway, you guys know what it is. So that, and he was doing the headaches again for a little while. I mean, he's just constantly, like, it's constantly something right now. It's like if he stops one thing, he starts something else that's like really bad, like the pooping thing, or the headache, or whatever it is. And he's also been giving me joint pain for a couple of nights there. I would just shift, like I would turn over in my sleep or whatever, and he would make my left knee just throb like so excruciatingly painfully for like, maybe for like a minute, but it was it was very painful, and it was like every time I turned. Anyway, he didn't do that last night. And I've been trying not to take pain relievers because when I was sick, like I had my period and I was sick at the same time, so I mean, for a little while there, I was taking a lot of medication, like 20 around the clock, 24 hours a day, so I'm like trying to let my organs like kind of, refresh. But what that means in the meantime is that he's swelling my joints up and, giving me a lot of pain. So like my entire body hurts right now. It just hurts to move. And like I've said before, the reason I work out so much the way I do, which right now it's like 4 to 5 hours a week I'm working out. Part of like the biggest part of the reason why I do that is because of my joint problems and my back problems and everything. Like that's why I have so much muscle on my body right now. Anyway, so it's very frustrating. Okay, so then the other thing that happened was, as I've talked about, the toilet in my room is not really a toilet because there's no plumbing in here, but it's like a bowl that empties out into a cartridge underneath, and I only do number one in there. Like I never do number two in there because it's too clunky and disgusting. Like it's just like, I'm not going to do that. So it's just urine and a little bit of water because like you have water in there to like rinse the bowl out. There's like a tube that that goes into the bowl, and you press a button and like the water rinses it out, and then that goes into the cartridge as well. Anyway, so Billy, since I got here, was kind of like insisted on emptying it. And it, initially what I thought about it was I should do it, A, just because it's my pee and it's like an intimate thing that really only a husband should be doing and not a brother-in-law. So I felt like it was my responsibility and I did say that I should do it, but he insisted on doing it. And I think he did that to be nice and because he thinks it's like, a male thing to do. Which, I mean, I agree with. It's, like women anyway, whatever. We don't need to get into a discussion about that. But, that was fine. So I left it. But it's been, it was giving me so much anxiety because he wanted to only empty it twice a week. And by the time he's emptying it, like it's full, and it only holds like 2 gallons or something. It doesn't hold very much. Um, so, and he kept procrastinating more and more and more. And I want to say here that I think it's the Goon Squad that told him to do that, to keep procrastinating and procrastinating because he's not like an asshole. Like, I really don't believe that he would just leave me hanging like that. I really don't think that he would, only if the Goon Squad was like insisting that he do that. Um, anyway, so he kept putting it off and putting it off. And then eventually it hit a peak last week, Tuesday night last week, where I texted him. I knew it was getting full because it had been already like 4 days, I think, or 3.5 days or something. And I texted him like first thing in the morning, and I said, I really think the toilet needs to be emptied. I think it's gonna, like the light's gonna. There's a red light that comes on when it's full. I was like, I really think the light's gonna come on today if it doesn't get emptied. And he said, okay, I'll do it later. I want to show Pam how to do it because Pam and I were going to do it together because he's going away on a trip for a few days. So I said, okay, whatever. And I left it, but I was worried about it all day. I was like, oh my God, like he's going to forget. And so I texted Pam and I said, I texted with Billy and he said he was going to do it. And I'm just letting you know because I'm afraid he's going to forget. And she responded, like LOL, okay, or whatever. And then hours go by and I hear him come home because like I'm right next to the garage, so I can always hear them come back when they park in the garage. So I hear him come back at like 5-ish and I expected him to come right and do it right then. And he didn't. He left. He went into the house and that was it. So then I waited like another hour and a half and it was like 6:30. Forgive me for all the detail, but I want you guys to understand what this evening was like for me. So I'm worrying about it and worrying about it. I let some more time go by because I don't want to be a nag. And he does it at night a lot of time, I think, because he just so badly doesn't want to do it that he puts it off till the very last minute. Um, so I thought maybe he's going to do it later. So 6:30 comes and I text Pam and I say, did you guys forget about the toilet? And she said, oh, we're out to dinner. We didn't have a chance. And now we're out to dinner. So, and Billy doesn't want to do it until tomorrow morning because he wanted to get back on the schedule of Wednesday morning and Sunday morning, which was what he felt that the schedule should be. And so I was really pissed because what ended up happening was I ended up with a full toilet by 1 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't use it all night. And I wasn't going to walk into the house. So basically I just held my pee until I woke up around 6 o'clock in the morning when Billy leaves to go to his job. And I just got up because Pam and I were going out a little bit and like a couple hours later. So I was like, I might as well get up anyway. So I got up. It was like 6:30 by the time I was, dressed and everything. And Pam had recorded a video of Billy doing the toilet like when I first got here as like a tutorial. And I couldn't find it, but I searched for it and I did find it and I watched it. And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm just going to do it. So I just went and did it. And it was a nightmare because the cartridge was completely full. It was totally like completely full. And the first time, like I said, it was a disaster because it was still dark out when I was doing it. I couldn't see anything. I was stressed out. I was angry. I was like really angry. And because I was thinking like if we had just taught me how to do this, like from the beginning, like where I actually did it with somebody, helping me do it, then I would have just done it all this time. And I wouldn't have been having to sit here waiting for somebody else to do it, letting somebody else be in control. And that was the original reason that I wanted to be responsible for it to begin with, is because I've learned throughout these 10 years that I have to be as totally self-reliant as I possibly can be, because anything that anybody else has control over, the goon squad's going to get in there and tell them to fuck with me, and make my life miserable, which is what they were doing with the toilet. So anyway, so I did it. It was a disaster, but I figured out that you just can't let it get very full. So I'm emptying it every 2 days. I've done it 3 times altogether, twice since the first time, and I know how to do it now, and it's fine, and it's totally smooth. And I'm thrilled, by the way, to be doing it, because now I don't have to let somebody else be in control of my comfort with my toilet, like a basic necessity, like my fucking toilet. I'm not like a guy that can just go outside. We have neighbors too that can see. I can't just go outside and like discreetly pee. Like for a woman, it's like a whole to do. You have to squat and everything. Anyway, which I shouldn't fucking have to do anyway. It's freezing cold outside. Anyway, so now I'm doing the toilet, and I have control over that, and I have control over my sink, and I do all of that stuff. And so that's really good. The next thing that I'm concerned about is the propane heater, because that's been like a savior for me with, keeping it warm in here. And the propane is on yellow. And, the only person that can disconnect the propane canister and replace it is Billy. I mean, he's a fireman. He's a retired firefighter. Like Pam and I are very uncomfortable dealing with a propane tank that could explode. You know what I mean? So, but now that means that Billy has control over that, whether I have heat or not. And the goon squad, that means the goon squad has control over whether I have heat or not. And they've already broke one utility heater, which apparently had a receiver in it, so they could fuck with me with that. And then the wall unit just works whenever the hell it feels like it. Like if I just leave the wall unit just to run all by itself with nothing else, it'll be like 52 degrees in here. So that's just supplemental, so I have like basically all of my heat is supplemental, and I just use it all together. So I'm afraid that the propane is going to run out, and then I'm not going to have heat for however long the goon squad decides I should go without heat. So I'm concerned about that. I told Pam that it was on yellow, and that message got completely ignored. So now I'm just like, it's going to empty, it's going to run out, and then I'm going to have to tell them it ran out, and then I'll have to wait for however long I have to wait for heat again. So, yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to update on. I'm not doing terribly. I'm not as sick anymore. The cold is completely gone. Fuckwick is still like giving me some nasal congestion, and still like yesterday, he's still suffocating me on a regular basis. But yesterday and like the previous night, he did the mucus thing again, where I was clearing mucus for like an hour and a half, in the middle of the night. And this is like, it's been like a month, I think, since I got that cold. And of course, he's been suffocating me basically since November. And it's only now that he's been caught, like I think he was just going to pretend that I had asthma for like, until he couldn't do it anymore, basically. Which is, I think, where we're getting at, but he's still doing it. So he's not done yet. So yeah, so that's basically it. Things aren't terrible. They're not great. They're certainly better than they were at Dave's house. And I guess that's pretty much it. I miss Thuri. I do miss her. I feel, with every day that passes though, that it was the best thing for her. I just think getting free of that body, I think it was giving her so much pain and discomfort. And I think, it gives me relief to think that she's been freed of that. So that's that's pretty much that. So I guess I'm done. We're almost at 15 minutes here. Okay, happy Sunday. Bye.